Hi everyone, welcome back to our leadership series. Good leaders don't just manage work, they lead people. Now, imagine two managers get the same bad news on the same day. The biggest client terminated the contract due to repeated delays. Now, manager A slams the door, blames the team, sends an email at 1 a.m. in all caps. How could this happen? I've been warning all of you. Nobody takes responsibility in this team. Whereas manager B calls a meeting. This is disappointing. I know everyone here has worked hard. Let's first understand what happened before we decide what to do next. Now, what explains the difference between these two leaders? It isn't their technical expertise. It isn't their educational qualification. It isn't their years of experience. The difference lies in how they understand and manage emotions, their own emotions and those of the people around them. That ability is known as emotional intelligence. And in today's corporate world, it has become one of the defining characteristics of effective leadership. Before we go to further concepts, take a moment to reflect on your own workplace behavior. When someone criticizes your ideas in a meeting, is your first instinct to listen or to defend yourself? When a project deadline is suddenly moved up, do you panic or do you help your team stay calm and focused? When disagreements arise within your team, do you focus on proving that you're right or on finding a solution that preserves the workplace relationships? During periods of high pressure, do your emotions influence your decisions more than facts? If you found yourself reflecting on these questions, you're already taking the first step toward understanding emotional intelligence. Because the way you respond in these situations often says more about your leadership than your technical skills ever could. A technically brilliant manager who cannot control anger, refuse feedback, or create fear within the team may only achieve short-term results, but often struggles to sustain high performance. In contrast, a leader who communicates effectively, manages conflict constructively, builds trust, and motivates employees is more likely to create long-term organizational success. So we all agree that emotional intelligence, that's EQ, that's very important. But what does it really look like to a leader? Daniel Goleman breaks it down into 4 essential building blocks that every effective leader should develop. The first factor is self-awareness. Self-awareness means recognizing what you're feeling, understanding why you're feeling it, and realizing how those emotions influence your behavior. Many leaders assume they are self-aware because they know their strengths and weaknesses. However, true self-awareness goes beyond this. It also involves recognizing emotional triggers, understanding personal biases, and identifying behavioral patterns that emerge under pressure. Now let's go to the next factor, that is self-management. If self-awareness is recognizing what you're feeling, self-management is choosing how you respond to these feelings. It is the ability to regulate your emotions, remain composed under pressure, and ensure that your behavior is guided by your goals rather than your immediate emotions. Leaders who lack self-management tend to react and have a harder time keeping their impulses in check. The next important factor is social awareness. It is the ability to understand the emotions, needs, and perspectives of the people around you. For leaders, it means being aware of how team members feel and what they need to perform at their best. Empathy is the key to social awareness. When leaders genuinely understand their colleagues' feelings and viewpoints, they communicate better, build stronger relationships, and create a more supportive and collaborative workspace. The final pillar is relationship management. This refers to your ability to influence, coach, and mentor others and resolve conflict effectively. Some prefer to avoid conflict, but it's important to properly address issues as they arise. A leader is responsible for resolving conflicts, motivating the team, and directing them towards the accomplishment of the goal. A leader can influence how welcoming and encouraging a work environment will be and how people will function together. Now let's see how an Indian corporate leader applied them effectively. In 2005, when Mr. Vineet Nayer became president of HCL Technologies and later CEO in 2007, the company was growing rapidly. However, its competitors were growing even faster. HCL was steadily losing market share, employee attrition was increasing, and many employees had become complacent about the company's future. Nayar believed that the organization needed more than a new business strategy. It needed a fundamental change in its leadership culture. Now let's see how emotional intelligence shaped the transformation. The number one pillar is self-awareness. Mr. Vineet Nayer began with what he called the mirror phase. Instead of relying on assumptions, he traveled across HCL, spoke to employees at every level, and encouraged honest conversations about the company's strengths and weaknesses. This reflects the self-awareness practices we already seen, at seeking feedback, remaining objective, and challenging your own assumptions before making any decision. Next is self-management. Rather than reacting with quick fixes, Mr. Vineet Nayer committed to a long-term cultural transformation. He consciously moved away from the belief that the CEO should have all the answers and instead empowered employees to solve problems themselves. This reflects self-management, staying focused on long-term goals, managing one's ego, and responding thoughtfully instead of impulsively. Thirdly, social awareness. Mr. Vineet Nayer spent time listening to employees across the organization because he believed those closest to customers best understood where value was created. By understanding their perspectives and challenges they faced, he demonstrated social awareness, that is, listening actively, understanding organizational dynamics, and seeking different viewpoints before acting. Lastly, relationship management. This thinking eventually became HCL's well-known philosophy of employees first, customers second. Mr. Vineet Nayer built trust through transparency, encouraged open communication, and empowered employees to make decisions. By strengthening relationship within the organization, he created a culture that improved employee engagement, customer relationships, and business performance. The result: over the next 5 years, HCL's revenue roughly tripled from around $700 million to $2.6 billion, while attrition dropped and the company was ranked among the world's most influential by Business Week. Mr. Vineet Nayer's leadership reminds us that emotional intelligence is not simply about understanding emotions. It's about using that understanding to lead people more effectively. By understanding himself, managing his own behavior, listening to others, and building trust, he transformed both HCL's culture and its performance. As we have seen throughout this video, emotional intelligence is much more than understanding emotions alone. It's about understanding yourself before leading others. It's about staying composed when situations become challenging. It's about recognizing what your team may be feeling, even when they don't say it directly. And it's about building relationships based on trust, empathy, and open communication.
Hi, my name is Vineet Nayer. I'm the CEO of HCL Technologies. I have a question from Wendy Buckleman from Facebook asking me, what would you like to be historically remembered for? And I would believe is a person who listened more than talked, a person who was inclusive in shaping thinking around solving world problems, and a person who is believing and participating in shaping others' thinking in solving the problems which our society faces today. Thank you so much.
In today's corporate world, technical expertise and business knowledge are important. They may help you secure a leadership position, but what often determines your long-term success as a leader is your ability to work with people. Because at the end of the day, organizations do not just achieve results. Only people do. And people perform their best when they feel respected, trusted, understood, and valued. Be sure to like this video, drop a comment below. Finally, make sure to subscribe and check out our next video in this series for more useful strategies for success. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.